This is the third video where we're going to be covering the contracts page. Contracts are something that are important as far as a consignment store. Obviously, in a retail business, you're not going to have to use a contract. But basically, what you're doing with the contract, there's a page 1 and 2, so you have an option of 1 or 2 pages in order to assign a contract. And what a contract does is it provides terms and conditions that for your store you feel that you need to apply on a particular individual, which is the consigner, to make sure that they understand their rights and privileges and the terms and conditions that your store has. In this area, you would put those terms and conditions. You can edit them directly here, or you can copy and paste them from a text document directly into this screen. In this screen, you'll also notice at the top of the page you can add your business information, and you can also, for example, the business name and address and phone and all that kind of stuff. There's a limited amount of space, but you can squeeze it in here. What you need to do is you can either do it on a word processor and then automatically paste it in here. You also have the ability to add a logo if you want, and this is a click-on thing like we did before, where if you click on it, you can paste it into this particular field right here. The consigner record that you're viewing when you access the screen from the consigner page will put that consigner's information in these fields over here. When you do a consignment with a contract, it may not be the same day as the day that you created the contract or the consignments. You may have a returning client. You may want to modify the contract slightly for that particular client. But typically what happens when you create the contract, it's global. It goes across all the different consignees. So what you want to do is you want to go ahead and put the basic information for the first part of the page, page 1, into the contract, and then optional contract things in page 2. That way, if you need to, you can modify page 2 on a case-by-case basis for that particular contract. But you will want a boilerplate and have the basic ones in page 1. At the top of the screen, you would put in the date of the contract for this consigner. You would put the range. If he's going to have a consignment period, you can type in there the consignment period as far as 90, 120 days, whatever you might, or just put none, put a 0 in there. It's your option. If you're going to consign all items for this particular consigner, you can put a default one in there if it's always going to be the same, and in this case the decimal for 40%, and that provides the information for that contract for that particular consigner. In most cases the percentage stays the same, but on an individual basis you can go in the individual item and adjust that particular commission for the consigner, as I showed you earlier in the last video. So those are that option if you need to do that. You can do a find in here to find a record based on a consigner. You can do it based on a month or date, or in fact it may sound odd, but you can actually go into a set of fields, like if it's on page 2, and say, for example, there's an optional term and it's only in a few records and you want to find out which one that had. You could type in the information during the find for that particular thing, and these are called blog fields. There's a lot of data. It will find all the people that have that term or condition in their contracts, and then you can cycle through those. Typically on the iPad, there's a prior and next button at the bottom of the page, and on the desktop there is a button in the drop-down menu that you can click at the bottom. It's not on this particular one, but it's on most of them, where it says Show Hide. And what Show Hide does is it shows you the menu options at the top of the screen. I try to put all the things that you need within the application in menu buttons and everything on the application, so you don't have to try to figure out where to go. The last thing I want to point out is if you're leaving this screen, you can leave by picking any of the items in here as far as going to that screen, or you can click this button to return to the consignment record. For example, if I wanted to see page 2 of the contract, I could go back to that page and then click on it to see page 2 of the contract. If you have any questions, as always, you can go ahead and contact me by going to the support site icon and clicking on it. Thank you.